back again to the Maglite Podcast. And for those of you that have never been here before, welcome for the first time here at the Maglite Podcast. I'm your host, and we are all about preparedness at Maglite. And a big part of preparedness is self-defense. And this month, we are focusing on women's self-defense. And we will talk about hand-to-hand. We will talk about the basics of that. We'll talk about non-lethal options with a company named Pavashot. And then we have a couple of, very experienced women's firearms instructors and concealed carry advocates that will join us for a later podcast. But now, episode 1 of our Women's Empowerment series. And I want to introduce you to a woman who is very well known inside the circles of women's self-defense. She's been on national television because of it, and she joins us here. Tracie Arlington, owner and lead instructor at Play It Safe Defense. So I gotta ask about the Chihuahua and Dr. Phil, because that's just a great story.
Well, the Chihuahua is our company mascot.
Chihuahua, there you go.
Because we also teach children, and when children, they get that whole concept. A little Chihuahua can bark off a big dog. They could bark off a bad stranger. So it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And let's face it, they think they're 150 pounds and they only weigh about 10, because we call it Chihuahua confidence. And they have big voices too, right? So that's where the Chihuahua came from. And then Dr. Phil found out that we were teaching women and children this way. He thought it was pretty hilarious, and that's what got us on the show.
Oh, go Chihuahua crazy. I'm going to go Chihuahua on them. Yeah,
don't make me go Chihuahua on you.
Don't make me go Chihuahua on you. I'm just saying. Right. Yo quiero. And I've noticed this too. I have a giant shepherd lab dog, 125, 130 pounds, looks like Scooby-Doo, acts like Scooby-Doo. Is bark, my hair standing on the back of its neck. And then, the cat, and the dog's like, so it's like, okay, yeah, big dog. Maybe your name is not William the Conqueror, maybe it's Willie. Just exactly. Saying, Patton said about his pit bull. So same idea. Doesn't matter. Size in a way doesn't matter. Ferocity matters.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a mindset. And confidence is something that can be taught. I'm a huge advocate that you can teach children and women to appear confident, even though they're frightened. We call it fake it to make it, in the martial arts. It's all about eye contact, voice, and setting a boundary. The minute you set a boundary with somebody, they think you know something.
Well, I've been in some trainings for teachers, the majority of which in our public schools are female. And we work with a company that does training for school live shooter incidents. And they will always say, a lot of them, oh, I can't really get into this role play, hitting people and hitting things, but get them started and get them into it, and they completely change. Right. I mean, they're wailing on that tackling dummy and, using improvised weapons. And, the instructor's like, okay.
Right.
You got it. So you've got to get people over that point. How do you get women over that point?
Well, a lot of it is we talk about family defense. For instance, I had a full contact class yesterday where the women actually fight a mock attacker. It's scenario-based training. And we had a couple moms come in there and they were, a little hesitant. But the minute I said, okay, you're fighting for your children's lives, because if they get through you, they're going to get to your kids. That's where we see the mama bear come out, or the Chihuahua.
That's the
so
case,
it's definitely it's a mindset, definitely.
Let's talk about prevention first.
Yeah.
Because that's where this starts. Everybody, any training I've been to, whether it's self-defense, whether it's firearm related, the thing you want to do is step 1, not get to a point where you need to use your firearm.
Right.
Step one, don't get to a point where you need this self-defense training. So
Right.
what do you tell women about starting there?
Well, 90% of self-defense or protecting yourself is awareness, and it's situational. So I can say, oh yeah, be aware of your surroundings, but what situation are you in? Are you in a parking garage, or did you just meet somebody on a dating app and you're meeting them at a coffee shop and you're getting that kind of that weird feeling? It's, listening to your gut. So being aware of the way you feel, the things that are around you, and anything that could potentially be dangerous. So that's where we always start. I tell women, I've been in the martial arts for 29 years. Never have I used my martial arts training on a bad guy. But before I was even 18 years old, I was sexually assaulted by people that I know. So it's 90% of the time, it's going to be somebody that you know. And so a lot of that is, who are the people that are in your life?
So situational awareness includes don't associate with people that you get a bad feeling from.
Right, right. But then again, if it's a family member or, it's someone you're married to or you're dating, it's a lot more difficult to fight somebody or to be in self-defense mode against people like that. And that's where confidence comes in. Do you have the confidence to set a boundary, to leave a relationship, to say no, to defend yourself?
Drugs and alcohol, you said, play a role too. In
Right.
what
Well,
way?
when we look at that 90% of the time it is someone these are the top 5 weapons that we've researched in order. Alcohol and date rape drugs being the number 1 weapon that's used. We see that a lot, obviously, in college, women that are dating. And I don't want to just say women, it happens to men too. The second most common weapon, if you look at the statistics, it's choking. So we spend a lot of time on chokeholds, crime of passion, shut up, that type of a thing. Third most common weapon is hitting someone into submission. A lot of women, in fact, yesterday I had 18 women in my class, and not one of them had ever been hit before. I asked them, has anybody been hit? So somebody hitting you can definitely, be a scary situation. The fourth most common weapon would be verbal intimidation. And then last on the list is knives and guns. Typically, that's usually with a stranger, an ex, or a stalker.
Gotcha. All right. So we've talked about some of the basics of how you get into the situation. Obviously, awareness is the way that you stay out of it. Watch yourself around club situations, social situations. Keep an eye on your drink. Make sure nobody's messing with what you're consuming, and be careful in those ways. We're gonna take a pause here, and then next time we get together, we're going to talk about the basics of really physically women in self-defense. All right, that is it for now here on the Maglite Podcast. We will continue with Tracie in another episode coming up very soon. Watch for it at least within the next week. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. We're all about preparedness and empowerment here at Maglite, and this month it's all about women's preparedness and empowerment. Until next time.